And welcome back to Playdrome Rose Bowl. Jim Kripke along with Pat Polash. It's the Gebhardt Scratch Singles Tournament, and Joe Paluszek takes to lane number 3. And don't adjust your dial. That is not a test pattern for 2 sports. That is a strike from Paluszek as he comes right out of the box the way he needs to. And nails it big. Paluszek, some big numbers today, Pat, in the qualifying.
Yeah, Joe bowled extremely well this morning in qualifying. He was a couple pair to my left. He had a pair of 289 games in his first and third game. As all good tournament bowlers should know, they should know their equipment and know when to change. So he made a move, grabbed a different ball. He's now throwing an Ebonite Cyclone.
Here is Augie Quattrini on lane 3. He wants to double it up. He has one match under his belt, defeated Owen Darby, shot a 238 game. Bounces back with the double to start this game. Last game he had started with a strike and a spare, so improves on that.
You can see Joe up there. He has the Columbia 300 emblem on his shirt. He is a PBA regional player. He has gone out and bowled some of the larger PBA events. He was one of those that participated in the U.S. Open this week. It's a high finish at 7th at the last year's USBC Masters. So it's no stranger to tournament competition.
And the right-hander leaves the 10-pin, made a nice shot, a little smooth there. Comes up with, need to come up with the spare.
You can see Joe's playing outside the second arrow, closer to the first arrow, and his ball was still outside the dark tracer board down the lane. He's going to move, it's about as far left as you'll see Joe get, and he'll be shooting a spare this afternoon.
Joe Paluszek on lane 4. Picks up the spare. He's got 20 in the first frame. Augie Quattrini with a double, so he'll take the early lead. We'll see how much that's going to be on his third shot. Paluszek now moves over to lane 3. And Pat, as you mentioned, this guy, a player on the tour, knows how to knock him down. He's got 2 PBA titles, 3 Olympus titles. He's made some all-star teams, and last year at the USBC Masters, came in 7th spot.
Yes. Very accomplished player. He goes out and bowls regionals with the guys in the area. We don't have too many bowling regionals right now out of our area. Probably the most notable one is Marty Burke.
Marty Burke, senior player. And Paluszek carries one there, gets some nice mix down on the deck and carries. Here comes Augie Quattrini now, wants to triple it up because I'm sure he knows that Mr. Paluszek is not going to let up when he's got a lead, and here he comes over on lane 4. This now righty-lefty matchup. Last one double lefty combo.
Yeah, we had 3 lefties, 2 righties on the show. A little light, a little flat.
Leaves a 7-pin, does Quattrini. And so the match tightens. Plot thickens, as they like to say, as frames dwindle on. Moving along well, though. I like the pace of the players today. It seems pretty comfortable for all of them. Nobody seems to be rushing or feel they have to rush.
No, they're taking their time, but it's kind of weird. I'm going to say they're taking their time, but they're not taking their time. They are making the shots. I mean, they're not standing there thinking about a whole lot of stuff. They're ready to go when it's their turn.
No paralysis by analysis, I think, here. If you haven't figured them out, really, by this point of the day, you came in this morning. Most of them bowled on the 9 o'clock squad, and then some second time, so you should have a good handle on what the conditions are.
Hey, I improved 215 pins between this morning and this afternoon, so.
See, it can be done.
Yes, and I bowled the same number of games, too.
And this one, Quattrini carries now.
Catches
Fourth
a break.
frame.
Was able to get the 7-pin to go out there.
This is big here, though, for Paluszek. If he can double up, Pat, he can take a 1-pin lead. Also would have, you know, the extra strike. Well, he'll force Quattrini to strike, but the triple here, big for Paluszek.
Right, and obviously we talked about Joe's qualifying this morning. He's no stranger to throwing strings of strikes, so this would be a good time for Joe to double up. But most importantly, he definitely wants to make a good quality shot. Once the ball's out of your hands, your control is finished.
And here he goes. It's Joe Paluszek on lane 4.
That was pretty good.
Got that one. You could see that was a great camera angle there. You got that ball. You could see it flip over kind of down the lane and make its move to the pocket.
Yeah, before the telecast, he commented that he definitely didn't want to get in the middle of the lane. His A game is definitely going to be going straighter, and the straighter Joe can go, the better off he's going to be, because his game's not built to play that deep inside 5th, 6th arrow line that Ryan Galley was playing. It's not that he can't, but that's not his A game.
All right, that's actually throwback bowling, really, when you think about it. And here comes Paluszek on lane 3. Wants to triple it up here, can take a 1-pin lead in the 3rd frame with a 70.
Ooh.
Doesn't quite carry it.
That's John Gebhardt in the blue shirt sitting back there with George Morgan in the middle. Marion Shook, one of our staffers here at Playdrum Rose Bowl. John, obviously, is the owner of Gebhardt Bowling and Billiards, our main sponsor today. And I will have to say about John Gebhardt, he does a lot for the bowling industry in this area. He sponsors the Masters. He sponsors George's tournament. And as a player, we're very, very grateful for all that he does to be able to help us put on events that we do, and also compete in those events. So without John and his generosity, we would not be able to do these things.
And it's been around a long time in the bowling industry. And there we see the pickup spare by Paluszek. And now Quattrini moves in, and he wants to get back on the strike train here if he can. Otherwise, we got a tie match through 4 frames. There's a look at the prize money. 2,000 on top, 1,200, 9, 7, and 5. It does. Quattrini makes good on that next shot. So he will now, with the strike here, can take a 10-pin lead. That was a gorgeous strike.
Yeah, you can see his head's. He moves his head a little bit at the point of release, but for the most part, it's pretty steady. That was off his hand. He knew it was pretty good. We get maybe in one of the next couple of shots, we'll get a still of Joe from the front, and you can watch Joe's head. His head, once it moves into its plane, it never moves. It's very, very steady.
Leaves a single pin now, does Quattrini now. That stops his string. 98 through 4. Go 118, but opens the door a little bit for Paluszek here in their battles.
Covers the spare.
118 for Quattrini. He's run 6 frames, and here comes Paluszek now in his 6th frame.
Joe's going to try to put a strike up on the board here and keep the lead at 9 pins.
Joe Paluszek moves in on lane 4. Looks for a strike here to get right back into the hunt. Be 9 down if he strikes, I believe, Pat.
That is correct. It's a good shot. Oh, bad break.
Wow. Terrible break. Leaves 4-10. Not what he was looking for there. Actually, I think he thought at release point that was going to be a good shot.
No, that was a good shot. He got a bad break. That ball just something down the lane. It was like almost something kicked it to the left, and it just checked up on him.
No spike marks, though. We know that.
No spike mark.
Our 9th place finisher today, Jack Current. 10th place finisher, Rick Graham. He gets 280. Current picks up 290. Keith Poppity, another familiar name on local bowling scene, picks up 270. As we see, tried to go for it. Could not cover. The spare really would have wanted that there. And again, like you mentioned, just kind of a bad break for Paluszek on the first shot.
That was. Yeah, Joe got a really bad break there. He could have easily tripped out the 10 pin.
Kind of shaking his head, and he knows he needed that one there as Quattrini only on the spare, though. So Paluszek wants to come back here with a strike. Joe Paluszek on lane 3.
Good shot. Ooh.
Again, doesn't carry. That time leaves the 4-7.
Yeah, now that may have been a little bit of a remnant of the previous shot where it looks like maybe he took a little bit off of that shot and it didn't make the corner down the lane. See, he was thinking it was going to.
And it didn't.
And it didn't.
And he knew he didn't get the reaction he wanted. Right. But he's still got a couple frames. He's got 3 to go, but has to look at this point maybe for a little bit of a break from his partner. Or his opponent, pardon me, not his partner.
Right.
As he picks up the spare. Got 116 through the 6th and a spare up.
Yeah, Augie with a strike here will take a 22-pin lead.
Also some breaking news here on 2 Sports. Congratulations to the Sacred Heart CYO basketball team. They won a playoff game today. They'll move to the diocesan finals. I want to congratulate Coach Jeff Moore and Coach Joe Jarjus and the players. Good luck in the diocesan tournament as Quattrini comes back and he carries a big strike. It was a nice team effort by the boys who had a good season. They were 11-3. And St. Thomas More League champions. They'll move into the diocesan tournament, which is in Allentown this year, which will be nice for us. That's held at various sites across the state. And here, first the diocese, then the state. And like district tournaments and high school basketball, you're seeing same issue, just on a different level. And here's Quattrini. Looks to double up and take a good hold on the match and gets the kick out. Almost looked like he was going to get a split, but took him down.
Yeah, that gives Augie a commanding 32-pin lead right now.
Some of the fans in the back, and you see Quattrini flips it out there from the left side. Lee Sant waiting in the wings, gets the kick out on the 5-7. That double big, though, for Quattrini. It's going to put him at 160, so even a double here by...
Yeah, it's going to be important here. Joe needs to strike.
Paluszek carries the strike, though, but doing what he needs to do. Paluszek with the strike there. I almost said Paluso. Stopped myself in my tracks. And you see, if you get a look at the scoreboard here at Playground Rose Bowl from the mezzanine, it looks tighter than it is. Quattrini with the double and Paluszek with the now strike up in the spare. And he's going to go in the 9th. So Augie Quattrini can close this one out, Pat, before our other player gets a chance to take the 10th frame.
Yeah, Augie's pacing at 220, mid-220s, and Joe can max out at 228 or 226. So Augie needs to spare strike or good count, spare strike, and this match will be over. On to the finals.
Looked like a nice relief by Paluszek, and this time loses the 7-pin, so can't make a much better shot than that.
Yeah, it was a great shot. Joe was one of the few bowlers he bowled this morning and shot his score, put the number on the board, and then elected not to bowl the second squad.
Picks up the spare.
Feeling that he might not be able to better what he had. And, I mean, when you average 250, gosh, 256 for 4 games, it's kind of hard to think you're going to do that again.
Improve on that, so. Exactly, I would agree. He's had some great scores, and here comes Quattrini now on the right lane. I think can close it out here.
Yeah,
with the strike.
Augie can strike or fill the frame.
There he goes. That closes out the match. Quattrini with 168 through the 7th. 250 game if he punches off the sheet here. Our 12th place finisher was Matt O'Grady. He'll pick up $260. Bob Vales came in 13th. He'll pick up $250. Jackie Reese, a strong competitor, always here at Playdrail Rose Bowl, picks up $240. And Brian Canty picks up $230, finishing in 15th position. Quattrini in 9 count. That halts the string.
There's a 197 in the 8th. It's enough to win. And we
Right.
have 230s with a conversion.
230s with the conversion. Again, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors. Gebhardt's here. Also, Bootsy's Deli, Playdrome Rose Bowl, The Vending Shop, and Service Electric. Also, before we get to that final now, as Quattrini covers, and now Paluszek will come up and he'll finish with Quattrini. We want to thank our crew here from 2 Sports setting up and bringing you the broadcast. Our executive producer, John Walson. Our director today, Andy Himmelwright. Chiron, Mike Menapace. Slow-mo, Steve Hughes. Dwayne Long. Video, Scott Richardson. Audio, Munch Long. Utility, Scott Mesco, as we see Quattrini finishes the strike for the 237. And our camera crew today is Brad Werner, Doug Long, Parm Long, and Derek Culhammer, and bringing you some great shots, profiles of the players as they release. Shots from behind the players here at Playdrome Rose Bowl. We want to thank them for coming out, and we see right there Paluszek really nothing to go for, Pat. Tough to kind of finish the game, and we get a halt, and just does make it under the rack there. Picks up 9. He'll shoot 195 for the game, but we are going to set up our championship finals. It's going to be Lee Sant coming out, and he'll go against Augie Quattrini after this break.